5, 4.
And now, back to New York.
I love it. Give me 1 second, please. I will.
You should totally get this mic. I mean.
Okay, I will definitely work on another mic. That will be my to-do list for the next go around. And in the interim, let's see if I can just get a little bit more lighting. Okay. Hopefully help me see. All right. Ready to get started? Conversation. Woo! Okay, here we go. Hello, and thank you for coming back and joining us on The Bottom Line, where tonight we're talking about social media, your kids, and Google Plus's new policy. 13 plus hanging out here with all of us that dare not say our ages. So the first question for our group tonight, and we're going to start off with a brief introduction. I'll just go down the line. Brad, if you wouldn't mind waving. Darylyn, when I call your name. Eli. Eric. Hassan. I'm Ermine. Renata. To my right. Renata, you want to wave for us? Say hey. And Robert. All right, here's what we want to know for the evening. Is social media good? Can it be good for you? What's going on? What are your thoughts? Who wants to start? Was it Brad? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, I think it's good, but I think with kids, it's nowhere where it needs to be at all. I mean, I popped into some Hangouts the other day, just randomly, and it goes from one room full of kids just talking over one another, and that's great. They're amongst their peers. But then you go into another room, which looks like there's many profiles. Come to find out, they're all just static pictures. I don't know if they were fake or not. They're all just no camera, and then one guy doing things he shouldn't be doing in a Hangout. And the fact that kids can join into things like that is just absolutely not appropriate. I mean, not for my kids. I don't care if they were 16.
Right. No, I definitely hear you there. Anybody else have a different perspective? Can it be good, though? What are some good things about it?
It could be good. It just needs to be, this situation needs to be created to where it can be good. And the way that Google Plus has created their atmosphere isn't really conducive to children. So, I mean, there are examples where, like Club Penguin, there's an online group for kids, and it was designed that way, from the bottom up. So that's what needs to be. There needs to be a good foundation for it to have a constructive top.
Foundation. So that one was. When I think of Club Penguin, gosh, my kid played that in like elementary though. And that was like 6 or 7 years old. I mean, we're asking for 13 plus. Is there any other examples of online 13 plus that's working well?
Not without breaking the rules, honestly. I forgot what the number is of the amount of people that are that underagers are on things like Facebook and put there with their parents' permission. I think to the original question, it can work. It's just not one size fits all because of all the variables of the parents' wisdom, the site's ability to handle it. I mean, Google Plus, for example, is just too new to even have got social down to a science like all of its ancestors have before it. So it's still a little too early to tell, I think, for here.
Well,
for me, it's simple. Sorry to interrupt. I was just thinking, I mean, you know, they have to be competitive. I think that's the bottom line. I mean, I was very surprised by it, and I was surprised by how people spammed and flooded the stream, and basically without commentary. So I thank you for, you know, bringing this up and making a special hangout just about this topic, because I saw a lot of shares, and I thought, wow. You know, this was touted as an 18-plus network. It is for sure that. And the way something starts is very significant. So a foundation of 18-plus has been laid for 6 months now. So I'm really surprised. But to me, you know, what I started off by saying is that, wow, I guess they know they need to be competitive. It's a strange, they tend to be experimental, Google Plus and Google in general, and they've been very involving of us, the users. But this is a very big move to take experimental, right?
Okay, so here's one of the things I'm going to push you parents on here for a second. I went ahead and signed my daughter up today for a real Google Plus account, because you guys know she's been on here since like I have, right? So I went ahead and signed her up with her real age, and here's what we ran into. First of all, there was a couple areas I was entirely impressed. When you start off a Google Plus account, like through Gmail, that's all you get. That's phase one. You actually then have to go in and opt in for any other additional services such as Google Plus, which may seem a little, you know, a little bit higher level, that dynamic. So you have to upgrade your account. That's what they call it, upgrade. So when you move from your Honda Civic to your Accord, what you then get is a suggested user list for kids. I'm not going to talk yet about that suggested user list. I'll bring that one up later. But I think at least the first steps in the process I was pleased with and by, and I'm wondering if that can make any difference for any of you guys.
I don't think
It's all
so.
about.
Okay, go ahead. What don't you think so, Darren?
I don't think it's going to make a difference. It makes a difference in your case because you were the parent and you supervised it. But what about the kids, and how many are going to get their parents to actually create an account for them and
Their
log
parents
in?
don't know what Google Plus is, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, how many kids out there are just going to go out and create an account? I asked my 12-year-old grandson how he got his Google Plus account. And he said, oh, I just signed up on my phone, and, oh, I was born in 1980-something.
Right, right. So
And
there
that's
is
going to be my point is, you know, parents can try to supervise what their kids do, and they can have the computer in a public area if they choose to do that, but a lot of kids have smartphones, and the parent may not even know that they can sign up and log on from anywhere they're at. So if they're walking to school, I mean, they could stop 3 blocks over and decide to have a hangout. And as much as a responsible parent tries to keep an eye on their kids, you just can't be there all the time. And you can still try to put good values in there, but there's more that needs to be done. Going back to what Eric said, the infrastructure is just not in place to really protect the kids.
Okay, so here's
Yep.
my question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they should totally have some sort of like manageability, like the under 18-year-olds that are on here should not be exposed to the same content that we are. I mean, they can get their hands on. I mean, the access level is the same. It should not be like that. They should have worked on it. They should have like categorized like people age-wise, and then would have given them the access to the content on here on Google Plus.
Building on what Brad said there, you saw this intro where it showed you a lot of control, where you kind of signed up an email and graduated the account under supervision. But that's not the issue. That's as if you drop kids off at their friend's house and the parents greet you at the door, but they don't watch what goes on inside. The fluidity of the social network is the core of the issue. It's
So I was going to ask that differently then. I was going to wait to ask this big hunker of a question. Whose job is it? Is it parents? Is it
No, it's
Google?
ours
Is
first.
You know what I mean? Is it the government?
I think it's a shared responsibility, but for the example of it is yes, the parents are absolutely need to be involved in what's going on, but we all know what can take place in Hangouts at late hours and when people are consuming beverages. But my point is, would you take your kid to the movie theater that is right next to the strip club and drop them off and trust them to go inside? And that's, in essence, what you could have going on. Is, I mean, you expect your kid to be in here, and they're at a movie, and they're doing the right thing, but right next door is all this other stuff going on. And I mean, if you just drop your kid off and watch them go inside and leave, if somebody invites them to come next door or offers them some candy, come here, kid. I mean, it's just not a great environment at all.
Yeah, this is actually a little different from Facebook because you have the ability to video chat, because it's acceptable for people in here to hide behind a screen, because people have, you know, some things have happened that are inappropriate, and Google's responded basically said, well, did you get a screenshot, or did you do this, or did you do that? No, but 6 people reported to you that, you know, there's some inappropriate activity going on, and 3 days later we still see this guy's account up. So
No moderation
they're a
controls.
little slow to react. And if they can't react any faster than that, particularly if someone is reporting them who is, you know, fairly well known in the community or verified in the community, then it gives me some pause and concern for whether or not they can I can't be in every place that my kid is when he's on Google Plus or online. If he joins a Hangout, he joins a Hangout. What am I going to say? Don't join Hangouts, and then I don't know. I'm a little. My kid had someone follow him that I don't know. I find that person creepy, and they followed my kid, and I'm like, why would you do that? That's just something's wrong there. So
we have a comment from John Fanavans who says, block all the children. Child enters my Hangout, block. And you know the cool thing about it is, I think some parents would feel comfortable blocking some adults here too, just as you guys have said.
Honestly, I've blocked my own kids from my own profile on Facebook. I mean, we always, yes, it's our responsibility as parents, but there is a certain amount of education that some parents might not have. A lot of my oldest son, my oldest is 11, his friends, very savvy. Very, very savvy. It's like some of the deepest, darkest recesses of the internet walking around my house when they come over to hang out. And when I meet their parents, these are people who are like, yeah, I'm cool with Facebook, right? And, I'm privileged because I grew up in Silicon Valley. I'm privileged to be an early adopter, so I have a fantastic relationship with my kids. But my reality is not even close to the reality of if a parent can't get it, how are they going to manage and supervise and understand? Especially when kids are using computers in schools to look up, information for reports and things of that nature. There's only so much we can do. Like
schools are not going to block, Google because they use that as a search engine tool. So they're then one step away from being able to sign into that at school. And I think lots of things and lots of problems can get posed. And yes, the kids can block, which is great. But that's like telling your kid, always do the right thing. It's on your shoulders. Never do anything else anybody tells you. Never succumb to peer pressure. You have a block button. I expect you to use it. And we all know that kids make mistakes. They're not able to reason like they are later in life. And they think, oh, well, this is fun and this is exciting and this is cool. Yet they don't understand that there's consequences that come from that. And, somebody meets them in a hangout or starts to learn a little bit about them. They slip up where they go to school. If this guy wants to, he can start following them. I mean, it's just not...
As a parent, I would very much like the ability to get notified or have administrative privileges over my kid's account.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Anyone that's over 18, do that well. I would like to be notified if someone follows them and be able to accept or deny that contact.
Fact of the matter is, that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I think so too. Go ahead.
Fact of the matter is, if yes, the parent, like we talked about, has some responsibility, but if Google doesn't want to step up and take some responsibility, then like any other adult establishment, there needs to be an age level set, whether that's 18 or 21, and say, look, you're not allowed to sign up unless you're that age.
Well, here's the second thing I don't get, and this is where I'm clueless. Every other social network that's a bit more safe for kids has that dual way that you can't just go following people. They have to accept you and you have to accept them. I'm wondering why we didn't structure, at least in the beginning, the Google Plus to do that for kids. No?
Yeah, it should have been like that. It definitely should have been like
that. That feature should have been enabled. But I think if Google wanted to be responsible, like I said, I think they should step it up and say, is there a parental person that can verify, or I'm the one that should say, okay, if someone's over 18 years old and they want to follow my kid, period.
And if you've ever had your kids playing games like Club Penguin or the World of Warcraft, they have amazing controls in there from time meters and things like that.
No, it's
very doable.
Hey, don't start with the time meters on Hangouts. That's not funny.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break right now, and we invited some Google team members onto the conversation. If you want to ping me, send me a note, see if you'd like to get involved with this conversation. Be listening in. We'd love to get your perspective on some of the security features that you have. Let us parents know what you did to protect the ones that we love the most and the ones that, are going to support you. Let us know. Love to hear from you right after these breaks. Hopefully someone will. Thank you. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for that.